Hello and welcome to another Movie Reviews by Benjamin. Today we'll be talking about Elysium as well as Percy Jackson's Sea of Monsters. I'm going to do a separate review for that one, but first we're going to start off with Elysium. First off, I do want to apologize. It took me a little while to get this one up, but here we are, and wow, what a movie this was. Of course, Elysium starring Matt Damon, Jodie Foster, and Charlton Copley. Really wild mix of characters here. Of course, Matt Damon's kind of one we've seen before. He's sort of the bad boy with a bad past, turned hero in this one. But this movie is just one huge metaphor for immigration in the U.S. and they never really touch on it directly, of course, with the U.S. and Mexico being mentioned at all. But in this one, Elysium, as we saw in the trailer, is this kind of almost looking like a satellite space station just above the Earth. You can see it from the Earth, right outside the atmosphere. It's where all the rich people, all the wealthy people live now. They have these med bays up there that just completely cure you 100% of cancer. If you have a broken leg, it'll fix it. It takes about 30 seconds and you're cured. So of course everyone who's sick or has anything wrong with them on Earth is always trying to get up to Elysium to get in one of those med bays. And I had heard before I saw the movie, I saw it the day it came out, but I'd heard from some people who had already seen it that immigration was a big deal in this movie, and I thought, maybe just the overall premise. It's pretty direct. I mean, besides Matt Damon and a handful of other people that were still on Earth where it's overcrowded, dirty, populated, all this sort of stuff, everybody on Earth is Hispanic. Everyone. So all these Hispanic people are trying to get up to Elysium. At one point you see them in a few shuttles trying to get up there, and of course they're trying to shoot them down when they're coming to Elysium, and it's just like, wow, it reminds you so much of somebody trying to cross the border into the U.S. and getting shot at or shot down or whatever. But it was actually a really good movie. It had its slow parts. The first half of the movie sort of, it established Matt Damon's backstory and where he came from, and it kind of dragged along a little bit. But the second half of the movie really picks up. One thing that's really cool about the casting in this movie is Charlton Copley, who we saw in District 9, of course, worked with the director Neil Blomkamp before on District 9. He was the main guy, Wickus, in District 9, where he is just kind of this timid, really quiet sort of guy. And here he's plays the role of Kruger, who is like this mercenary. He's got a big beard. He's got wild hair. He's killing people left and right with his sword and guns and grenades and everything else. It's just wild to see him in such a different role. Like I said, in District 9 he was so timid. We also saw him as Howling Murdoch in the A-Team a couple years ago as well, and he was clean cut. He was kind of crazy in that movie, but crazy funny. This one he's just an intense villain here. The leader of Elysium is played by Jodie Foster. Terrible performance by her. Not really sure. Of course, we all know what she's capable of. Even back in Silence of the Lambs, she gave a great performance there. And in other movies, usually does really well. But this one, she had this very strange accent. I couldn't quite place it. It was almost like I thought maybe it was like kind of like a South African accent at first, but more heard it, I thought it was maybe kind of British. It's very odd. Really just didn't need that at all because no one else on Elysium had an accent at all, so I'm not sure what they were going for with that character there. Of course, she was just kind of the harsh, cold leader who doesn't want anyone who doesn't belong in Elysium there. And of course, she's the one who actually tells Kruger to go and do his thing, take people out, and of course, Matt Damon and him have these epic fights. The big deal about this movie is Matt Damon's working in a robot factory, and robots play a big role in this movie as well, but he is basically exposed to some radiation. He has to try and get to Elysium. He takes a couple people with him. Like I said, the first half of the movie really drags on. It really wants you to know that Earth is overpopulated, it's dirty, it's nasty. Once you get to Elysium, everything is nice and clean. A couple things I had a problem with in the movie. One being Elysium is kind of like this big ring in the sky, and you see them kind of fly their ships right into Elysium. Well, it's almost kind of like a U shape, but the top part is open. Well, wouldn't that be exposed to space and cold and no gravity and all that? They never really address how they keep everything on the on Elysium the way it is without, space. I mean, space is right there with no ceiling covering it, so it's obviously outside the atmosphere. I guess it's been terraformed, we don't know that. So kind of one thing that kind of raised a big question there. But as far as visually this movie goes, excellent. Absolutely perfect. Of course, for those of you who saw District 9 a few years ago by the same director, that one was really good. This one here, he's just improved that much more. This one had a big budget of 115 million. Unfortunately, it's only made 37 million in almost a week of being out. So I'm not sure if there's people who are not wanting to see this movie. I know it's playing in both 3D and 2D. I saw it in 2D, but I'm not sure why people are not wanting to go out and see this one. It is an excellent film. Like I said, there were a couple things like the big question of how the atmosphere works up there at Elysium. Jodie Foster's performance was really weak. But other than that, and of course, like I said, the first slow half, but visually, of course, this movie's great. I didn't get a chance to see who the composer was for the score on this one, but the music is actually really well done as well. But I'm going to have to go ahead and give, just because of those two weak things, I'm going to have to give Elysium a 7.6. It's a little bit higher than what I thought I was going to be giving while I was actually watching the movie. And then once you get towards the end, of course, you see these big, they get to Elysium, and of course, I won't give any spoilers, but some really wild things happen regarding Charlton Copley's character and his kind of little band of mercenaries sort of thing. But as we saw in District 9, there was quite a bit of bloodshed, but it wasn't anything too graphic. This movie is rated R for a reason. Definitely wouldn't want to take the kids to this one. There are some extremely intense scenes, extremely gory things that happen, but it's done in such a way, like, I really like his filming style. It's not done like it's like a Saw movie or something where you're forced to look at it and there's blood splurting everywhere. The way the gore in this movie is done is it's so fast, but it's so shocking as well. So it's really cool to see that style. But yeah, we're going to stick with that score, and then of course, like I said, I have another one here for Percy Jackson, so make sure to stick around for that one. And until then, I will see you at the movies.